7. Control and coordination. Regulation of life. We have learnt about various life processes like nutrition, respiration, excretion, digestion, etc., which are essential for the survival of every individual. In all living organisms, life processes such as digestion and respiration, growth and development must occur simultaneously one after the other because these activities are directly or indirectly linked with each other. For example, food material taken in through ingestion has to be digested and later oxidized to obtain energy through the process of respiration. This energy is utilized for growth and development of the organism. Thus, there is a need for proper regulation of these life activities for a better survival of the living organisms. Movement is a characteristic feature of all living things. Both plants and animals show movement, but movements in animals are noticeable and fast, whereas in plants, the movement is not spotted readily. Germination is the first stage in the life cycle of a plant seed, which ultimately develops into a seedling. The movement of the seedling is because of its growth. If growth is prevented, the seedling does not show any movement. Some of the movements exhibited by many animals and some plants are not related to growth. Let us look into some examples to understand this. Mimosa plant, commonly known as touch-me-not plant, closes its leaves on touching. Thus, if we consider the examples of mimosa plant and the seedling, we can conclude that the plants exhibit two types of movements. One movement is growth-dependent movement, as shown by the seed growing into a seedling. The other type is growth-independent movement, as shown by the leaves of the mimosa plant. A cow grazing in the field, birds flying in the sky, or your pet dog running on ground are all examples of growth-independent movements. We associate all visible movements with life. The movements may be in response to a change in the environment of the organism. As animals cannot prepare their own food, they move from one place to another in search of food, water, and shelter. They run to escape from their enemies. Some movements are made by the living organisms to benefit from the changes in their environment. Plants tend to show movement in response to sunlight, air, and water. Roots of plant show downward movement of growth towards water. Plants bend towards sunlight for their growth. Herbivores or grass-eating animals such as cows, buffaloes, and deer feed primarily on grass, leaves, and hay. The herbivorous animals are unable to directly break down the cellulose present in the complex plant materials due to the absence of cellulase enzyme in their digestive system. The undigested and partly digested food is called cud. The cud stored in the rumen later returns to the mouth in small amounts. The animal keeps on chewing this cud continuously. This movement helps in breaking up complex food to facilitate better digestion. Movements are also made to protect ourselves in response to any change detected. For instance, when bright light is focused on the eyes, the pupil of the eyes contract. Similarly, on touching a hot object, we quickly withdraw our hands. All the movements made in response to any change in the environment are carefully controlled. The change in the surroundings elicits a suitable movement in response depending on the event that triggers it. Coordination. What is coordination? In any multicellular organism, there are various tissue systems and organ systems. For proper functioning of an organism, there has to be a perfect coordination among different organs and systems and various stimuli from their surroundings. For example, in higher plants, the process of photosynthesis and respiration are linked to each other for the purpose of exchange.